Let's now talk about generating new minimum and maximum quantity levels based on your sales history and also based on your set formulas. Now, first of all, let's be clear on what a minimum quantity level is and a maximum quantity level. Usually, when people say minimum quantity level, they mean the lowest acceptable level that they want for each and every item. Let me write this down. And usually, when their quantities for a given item fall below this level, they want to do something. For example, they may want to transfer more, or they may want to order more from the supplier, right? Or, let me write this down as well, they may want to transfer more from their warehouse. Great. Now, a maximum quantity level is on the opposite end. It's the highest acceptable level. So maybe you don't want to go over this particular quantity level. And anything above that might be considered a surplus. Right? Now, why would you want a maximum quantity level? Well, maybe you don't have enough shelf space, right? So you will order, as an example, up to this maximum quantity level because that's all you can support in terms of shelf space or sales floor space. Or maybe your highest acceptable level corresponds to your budget. You just don't have enough money to order any more than this amount. Okay? So that's what I mean when I say minimum quantity level and maximum quantity level. Now, your mins and maxes are used in a number of ways within Retail Pro. You can use it with our auto PO system. So this system will help you auto-generate purchase orders based on your min and maximum quantity levels. You can also use it with our auto transfers module. Very similar. So this system will allow you to transfer merchandise between stores or between a warehouse and your selling stores, again based on minimum and maximum quantity levels. Now, mins and maxes are used for a number of other features within Retail Pro. For example, there's a feature to help you generate a transfer order from a marked for purchase order. And specifically, there's an option called Distribute, which will allow Retail Pro to determine what the transfer amount is based on the target store's need. And that need is determined by whether or not the quantity levels at those target stores are below their min. And there's another option here to generate a transfer slip from a transfer order. And there's an option called Optimize, which is quite similar to the Distribute option when generating a TO from a PO. So with Optimize, when you're generating a transfer slip from a transfer order, and in the event that you don't have sufficient quantities at the source store, Retail Pro will determine how much to transfer to each target store, again based on need. Okay? So mins and maxes, once established within Retail Pro, can be used a number of ways. Okay? And we have this tool called the Auto Min Max module to help you determine what the best mins and maxes should be for each given item at each given store, again based on sales history and these formulas. Okay? Now, let me write down the steps involved to generate mins and maxes within Retail Pro. And again, to generate mins and maxes automatically within Retail Pro, the first step is to update your Delta table. So the Delta table, as you may know, basically stores changes within the database. And this information is used to easily generate calculations like statistics. Okay, so just make sure your Delta table is up to date before you use the Auto Min-Max module. And two, you need to run the SRO analysis, and specifically just the S part. Now, SRO stands for Sales Receiving on Order, And there's a tool that allows you to basically generate or display sales information, receiving information, and purchasing information, on order information within Retail Pro inventory. So you can run this tool every day if you wanted to, and you can say, hey, show me sales for yesterday, receiving for the last 30 days, on order forever, right? And if you run this every day, there's actually data fields within Retail Pro inventory that will display the sales, the receiving on order information. So a user can come in and look at a given item and see the sales for yesterday, how much you received last month, what you currently have on order. Okay? But anyway, for the Auto Min-Max module, you need to at least run this analysis for the sales portion. Okay? And make sure that covers the date range that you ultimately would like to use for your sales history analysis within the Auto Min-Max module. Okay? Number 3, you now get into the Auto Min-Max module, and you're going to, Min-Max, and you're going to do another sales analysis. Now, this sales analysis will be used by your formulas. So you might have several runs here. So for example, if you have seasonal goods, you might want to filter for the selling season for those items. Well, first off, filter for the items, then filter for the sales season for those items and do a sales analysis. And do that for every one of your seasonal goods, assuming they have different selling periods. And then of course do a generic or a general sales analysis for all your items that sell all year long. Ultimately, you want to make sure the sales analysis is relevant for each and every item, okay? Because you're going to use this for your formulas. And number 4, you're actually going to create those formulas. Again, this would be done inside the Auto Min-Max tool. So you would set up your formulas. And your formulas would make use of information from the sales analysis. For example, one of your formulas could include days of supply, which basically tells you how much quantity should I have for a given item for the specified number of days. For example, if my days of supply is 5, because that's how long it takes for my vendor to ship me new merchandise, Retail Pro might take a look at a given item that sells 2 units per day, so you'll need a total of 10 for that particular item to last you 5 days. 5 days of supply for that item that sells 2 units per day is a quantity of 10. Okay, so that's a very simple example of a vendor-based formula that's linked to that vendor's lead time or days of supply. So number 5, you're actually now going to again use the Auto Min-Max module to calculate your mins and maxes. So you're going to apply all these formulas across the select items or all your items, and Retail Pro will suggest the mins and max quantity levels for each and every item at each and every store. Okay? And lastly, if you approve of the information or the numbers, you can update Retail Pro. So again, you'll be using the Auto Min-Max tool and you'll update Retail Pro. Okay, so those are the 6 steps to use the Auto Min-Max module in order to generate good, solid minimum and maximum quantity levels that's based on your sales history and other variables as well.